said, they're upset with society, they're upset with a non-caring society, and in essence it's a message, and the first thing that happens is the parents reject them, and then they continue to reject authority.
Yeah.
So exactly what is the bottom line? What are you trying to accomplish? What's the light at the end of the tunnel?
World domination.
I have to say
that.
They dress differently. If I were to walk down a dark street at night and one of these people were to come along, I would be frightened. But sitting and listening to them, I find them to be very intelligent.
We are human.
I think this young lady having a shipping clerk job. I think she speaks well. Most people who hold jobs like that don't speak as intelligently.
Yeah, including some talk show hosts. Here's the caller there. Hi.
Yes, he is. Good morning, sir.
Not much time.
Couldn't you consider the punkers of today the love child or the hippies of the 70s?
Let me get, good question. Let me get Charles M. Young here. Looking pretty straight to me. This young man is the contributing editor to Musician magazine. He's also a consultant to MTV, the music, radio, video, and has followed the punk phenomenon for some time. What is this, a follow-on to the hippies, or what do you think?
Oh, they're not the hippies at all. The punks have already lasted longer, and in terms of message content, they have more to say. There are fewer drugs at punk concerts, for example, than there ever were among hippies, because there's a straight edge movement that developed with a band called Minor Threat from Washington, D.C., and their whole thing was, if you read the lyrics, actually, of most of the bands, about half the songs are about, wake up, think for yourself, and break through your social conditioning, which is what a lot of the kind of the gross out aspect of it is about. I think it's into shocking people into thinking for themselves.
Right. Doesn't the environment of the punk rock theatrical experience lead, or at least usually create, the dissonance and the energy that leads to violence?
No, it's, if I had a kid, I'd rather have him go to a punk show than playing a football game in terms of violence. You
agree? Huh?
It's absolutely true. There's a lot of cooperation that goes on there's a lot of cooperation that goes on in a punk show when there's stage diving and skanking, which there's slam dancing, as it's called on the East Coast. And, I mean, kids help each other out. Someone falls down, they pick them up. It's not, they're not, it looks like a riot, but they're not fighting.
You agree?
I'm sorry, I agree with part of it. I don't agree particularly with the punk movement. I agree with what he said about football. I don't like football. I think...
I seem, you say that punk rocking is not violence or anything, not non-violent. I thought that too, and I went to a punk rock dance, and they were slamming into each other. They hit me a few times off the head. You know, I'm lucky to have my two bouncers here to help me out.
Well, it's
the same thing as walking down Michigan Avenue. It's no different.
No, you can it's what it is at a large punk concert, what it is there is freedom to violate anyone else's body space, but you're not free to punch someone in the nose. You're free to, flail around and pogo and whatever.
That's not true. Absolutely. I've been to punk concerts. And 3 weeks ago, a young man that I know very well came home. He was beat up by 15 punks and spent the entire night in the hospital being repaired.
I'm not saying it's violence-free, and that stuff happens, and they're always...
it continues to happen.
Particularly on the left.
There are no rules in a punk concert.
There's no rules in life either. I mean, you can get beat up
Hang on
anywhere,
just a second.
You know?
I disagree with the violence not being in it. I've been to Belgium where there have been punks on the corner throwing sticks out at old ladies walking by. And also at Neos. I've been to Neos. I've seen guys dance at Neos. Yes, I do get in punk clothes too, but
yeah, you can't
no, they take their...
Charles.
No, I'm not. I'm in a position here I don't want to defend entirely. I mean, certainly there's been violence at punk concerts, and particularly in the late 70s, it was much sicker than it is now. But I think there's been a large effort, particularly among the older bands, to get the punks to police themselves.
Why do they try and hurt themselves? Put pins in their ears or cheeks, slam their hands while they're dancing against glass or the wall?
It's called piercing your ear.
Piercing your ear. They want to know how's that different from you? Are your ears pierced?
Twice.
Twice, as in two different ears or two different?
In each ear.
Right, well, they want to know what's the difference between your pierced ears and theirs?
I'm talking about when it first came out, it was pins in the cheek, pins all over, torn clothes.
Yeah.
They're slamming mirrors while they're dancing or hurting themselves.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Are you there? Hi.
I just like to make a point. I'm a manager of a major retail chain here in Chicago, and I did have a person who worked for me who did have a punk hairstyle, and I did lose considerable sales because of it, because I did have a store in a very conservative area.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to let the person go. I had nothing against the person personally. It's just that I
He
was
turned
losing
off the
sales.
customers. Was he otherwise a responsible employee?
Oh, yes. He came to work on time and everything else, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, because of the area, I just had to let him go. He refused to change his hairstyle. I asked him several times.
Yeah, what color was his hair?
He had a blonde hair with a pink ponytail.
Hang on a moment. Is the caller there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I would just like to say that while I was in high school, I wore what my mother wanted me to wear. I should say. I did everything everyone wanted me to do. I probably broke more rules and did more drugs and stuff like that, by the time I was 14. I got pregnant. I have 2 kids now. I dress how I want to. I should say look rather lawless. I, probably look like a biker. But,
How old are you now?
now I'm 21.
As the
so
married-
I can drink legally, so sometimes, I go out to a bar or something.
Right.
But I'd say, I don't litter. I don't do drugs now. My mother comments on the way I look still, but she says I'm a wonderful mother.
Your marriage is held up.
Oh, yes.
Your husband is working outside the home?
Yes.
Are you?
No.
So he's got enough income to take care of it.
Yes.
How do you feel about what you've heard from the young women on the stage, Dareth and Kat? Do you identify with what they're saying?
Yeah. I'd like to say that being a woman myself, I like to look like a punker, because then I don't get those feminist remarks.
You
know
don't
what I
get
mean?
hit on.
Yeah, right. They think I'll hit them.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
What's the matter?
People don't
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
handle you different.
I was just making a comment. They're thinking about the way she was saying, fine, she's doing good at work, okay? But I like to wear mini skirts and things like that during the summer, too. But it's a way of business. It's a way of getting along. People are going to look at you a certain way, and they're going to think, well, how am I going to deal with this person?
But they're saying that the way people look at you, hang on just one second. The way people look at you is shaped by a culture that has values that are screwed up. So apparently this chap who worked for the fellow who called would rather be unemployed